So a lot of car companies these days seem to be targeting that particular part of the car market, first-time car buyers, offering value propositions and of course low prices in their cars. But what about those other first-time car buyers who are looking for more tech, more youthful vibe in their cars? You know, young first-time car buyers like me, stop complaining. So we'll be doing a quick walk around of these two amazing vehicles from Omoda, the Omoda C5 and the Omoda E5. So when the Omoda E5 and C5 was first introduced, I was dying to see it in the metal because they look so amazing, so modern. They don't look like any other cars on the road right now, especially the Omoda C5 right here. The Omoda C5 features this diamond star pattern grille, which really looks distinct, especially with these honeycomb that's integrated into the bumper right there. Now, the Omoda E5, on the other hand, does not feature that diamond star grille because, of course, it is an EV. The cooling system inside this one is totally different from an internal combustion engine. It gives you more options with what type of Omoda vehicle you'd like to get. So one distinct feature of these two cars, of course, is the lighting implementation. As you can see, the LED DRLs right there at the base of the hood. In this case right here, it's the hood. Here, it's the front. That's right, since this is an electric vehicle, there's no engine under that. Instead, you get a front where you can put all your small items in it. Of course, some tools perhaps, or probably some other chargers, but you can put it right there in the front. And if you're looking for the headlamps are located right here at the base or the bottom of the bumper. Now, those LED headlamps, by the way, are adjustable. You can adjust them from the inside of the vehicle. Now, one thing that you notice right here in both the Omoda E5 and the C5 is that camera. You got a front camera, side cameras, and rear, because you got a 360-degree camera system, as well as that radar pad right there at the bottom, because it also has advanced driver assist systems, which we'll be talking about later on inside. Now, the Omoda E5 and C5 pretty much run on the same platform. Now, if the front end doesn't really give you that much clues of that fact, the side profile definitely will. They do share the same body panels, the same shape right here, this arrow-like fastback SUV kind of design. That seems to be the norm these days, but this time it gives you a bit more sharper character lines right here in the front and in the back, giving it that distinct vibe. Now, one other difference that we have right here on the side profile are the wheels. Now, on the Omoda C5, you got 18-inch alloy wheels with 215/55 R18 tires, which is the same on the Omoda E5, but the designs are different. While you've got a more traditional 5-spoke pattern design right here on the Omoda C5, you've got a flatter, more aerodynamic wheels on the Omoda E5, giving it a little bit better aerodynamics, a lower drag coefficient, because it is an EV. Its purpose is to be more efficient while going down the road, and that's what you got right there. Now, one thing you might want to accommodate sportiness with is that two-tone look, that Stormtrooper Panda look that a lot of guys are looking for. Well, the Omoda C5 has it. Unfortunately, the E5 doesn't, but it does make up for it with a floating roof design and, of course, those sweet, sweet roof rails. So there are a lot of things more similar right here in the back of both the Omoda C5 and the E5. It's got this raking rear windshield right here, and of course you should never lose this, the rear wiper. It's got a huge wing up top, and for the Omoda E5, a nice ducktail spoiler as well. Now, the Omoda C5 isn't lacking with that extra bit as well. It might not have that ducktail spoiler, but it has a little bit of red strip below that wing. And for the shark's fin crew, you've got a shark's fin antenna up top right there. Now, with the Omoda E5 though, it doesn't have an exhaust port because it is not an internal combustion engine type of vehicle. It's an EV, so it's not going to pretend that it has exhaust ports right here. Instead, you got this smooth lower lip with some reflectors. But on the Omoda C5, a little bit of trim right here on each side of the lower bumper, giving you a little hint of what it is underneath. And of course, it's not going to be a modern crossover SUV if it doesn't have a power tailgate, which both of these have. First thing that's going to jump right at you is the modern funky blue interior, matched with a little bit of white and this interesting wood pattern trim that we have right here on the dashboard, as well as the center console. Now, I like how the blue works because it definitely matches the electric theme of the vehicle, and again, it looks fairly modern and compared to other cars in the same segment. You got a large steering wheel right here with capacitive buttons that controls different features of your car, such as cruise control, and you've got your media control buttons here as well. I really like it. It definitely cleans up the entire aesthetic of the steering wheel without having to put those physical buttons right there. The one interesting part right here is what's on top of the steering wheel. You're wondering what that's for. It's actually something to detect driver fatigue. I actually tested this out, and it detected that I look kind of tired. Why? Do I look stressed and tired to you? But yes, it kind of detected that I was stressed and tired, so it wanted to activate refresh mode, whatever that is. It does try to help you out with your overall health. You got a large dual touchscreen infotainment system, as well as a digital gauge cluster right here to give you all the information that you need. I love this screen. I mean, apart from being high definition, it's got good touch response. It barely has any lag to it. It's got some nice animations to it as well, almost like a tablet right here on your dashboard. One thing that the Omoda E5 features though is that you won't find any physical and buttons right here for the air conditioning or the media. You can find all of that right here on the screen, so make sure that you have your hands on the wheel at all times when you're driving, and once you're parked you can actually put you can just fiddle with all the settings right here on the screen, so no problems. Now what's interesting about this though, it's that it's got nice automatic climate control as well as cooled seats, and you guys know exactly how I feel about cooled seats. They are definitely a godsend if you ask me. It's got a sunroof on top. It's not a panoramic sunroof, but at least once you cover this up, it does cover the sun quite nicely, unlike any other crossover SUVs out there, which does where the light actually permeates through. I don't like that particular feature, but this one, it's all completely shut and dry, which is nice. Another thing that I love about the Omoda E5 are the speakers. You got Sony branded speakers all around, and they sound amazing. I'm not an audiophile myself. I don't know the difference between amazing sound and good sound, but I appreciate and love how the sound comes out as stock, especially because the infotainment screen does have wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. Now, what car these days does not have smartphone integration? I think it is a miss if the cars don't have that, and I'm glad to know that even though I've switched over to the Android side, it also has wireless phone integration. Speaking of wireless, it also has fast wireless charging. You got 15-watt wireless charging right there, so it definitely knows what customers are looking for. Plus, you know wireless charging gets your phone really hot. Now it's got an air vent on it as well to keep your phone cool and out of the way. I love how it has a lower shelf right here below, where you got some extra USB ports there in the bottom. You got more of the wood pattern grille right here, right there in the middle, and you won't see any shifters here. I wonder why you don't see any shifters. Well, you can find a shifter right here on the right stock of the steering wheel. So all you gotta do is just put it up for reverse, neutral, drive, and park. Easy peasy, nice and breezy. The fact that it doesn't have any of that shifter action right here in the middle instead of the stock is one of the main differences between the E5 and the C5. Another difference is that the E5's got a nifty little heads-up display right there on your line of sight. So yeah, you don't have to actually put your line of sight down. You don't have to put your eyes down to know what speed you're going, in case you want to stay within the speed limit. This is a pretty fast vehicle, I gotta say. Now there, you can find everything that you need, your lane keep assist, your adaptive cruise control, and of course your speed right there in front. And you can even adjust the position depending on your height, which is nice. The seats are also power operated right here, which is useful because you do need to get your proper driving position in both these vehicles. That's nice. And the steering wheel is adjustable for both reach and rake. Right, so jumping into the Omoda C5, we start to see the differences between this and the E5. For starters, instead of having blue and white interior, you get a blacked out one with piano black accents all around in place of the wood pattern design. It also has more of those piano black accents right here on the steering wheel, which has basically the same shape as the E5, but instead of capacitive buttons, you got physical buttons right here. So another of the differences between the C5 and the E5, you still have a wireless charger, but it is more inclined and is exposed right outside. And you have a physical shifter in place of the stock shifter right there, what you find on the electric vehicle. Now you've got your physical parking button right here, as well as the automatic brake hold button and your volume control. So for you guys out there who's looking for a little bit more manual controls and more analog controls right here on your car, this just might be what you're looking for. And it still has the same shelf right here underneath, which is nice. Same 10.25-inch touchscreen infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, which is definitely a godsend for me. It also has cooled seats, which is absolutely nice. But one thing that they do share in common, it's got 64 ambient lightings all around. You can even turn that off if you wish. Plus, it's got a smart voice feature like so. Hey, Omoda.
I'm listening.
Yes, open the sunroof, if you please.
Okay, opening.
Ta-da! But it's so hot outside, so Omoda, please close the sunroof.
Closing the sunroof.
And of course, if you need even more darkness inside, just shut down right there. So the best part about that voice command system is that you can actually customize and train that for a different keyword. So if you keep saying Omoda, you can just go ahead and change that to say Roy Robles or Bogart or Jobert. But yes, that's definitely something that you can train right here. And my favorite part, both these cars have this nice vanity light, which you can change the color temperature, by the way, from light, from cold to warm. And it's got one of the biggest vanity mirrors around. All right, so heading over to the back, a second row of the Omoda C5. Similar with the Omoda E5, you still have a lot of space to work with right here, and it's got a lot of toys. For example, you got these AC vents, and you don't get just one AC vent to fight with your co-passenger. You got two AC vents to keep you nice and cool. Now the Omoda C5 does have a USB-A port right there at the bottom, but the Omoda E5, the electric version, does have a USB-A and USB-C port. Plus, the Omoda C5's got the highest ASEAN NCAP scores in its segment, giving me that extra peace of mind knowing that myself and my passengers will be safe going down the road, going to any adventure that we think of. So apart from having stellar ASEAN NCAP scores, you know, having those basic safety features that are available to you, it's also got advanced driver assist systems. It's got blind spot monitoring system, forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking, lane departure warning, and of course what everyone is looking for, adaptive cruise control, as well as a 360-degree camera system with proximity sensors, rear parking sensors, and front parking sensors. Now, I know I said that the C5 get a 360-degree camera system, but the E5 one-ups it with a 540-degree camera where you can see underneath the vehicle itself. Whatever you want, whatever you're looking for in a car, it's right here in the C5 and by extension, the E5. The Omoda C5 is powered by a 1.5-liter dual overhead cam turbocharged gasoline engine that powers the front wheels with 156 horsepower and 230 Newton meters of torque. It's got a continuously variable transmission with a front independent suspension and a torsion bar rear suspension. So if, in case you're wondering if it can go through heavy traffic, go the open roads, yep, this definitely has the chops to take you on your adventure. Now the Omoda E5, on the other hand, is fully electric. Yeah, all power goes to the front wheels from an electric motor that can go up to 430 kilometers, 0 to 100 just a hair above 7 seconds. And yes, if you need to charge your vehicle just in case you run out of juice, you can go from 30% all the way to 80% in just 28 minutes with the right charger. That's right, the Omoda E5's got your back, and you don't have to worry about range anxiety with this bad boy because of the extended long range and the quick charging function. Now, another difference between these two, suspension. I mentioned that this has a rear torsion bar suspension, and that one has got a multi-link, so it's got fully independent suspension all around, which is necessary to carry that heavy battery. Now, neither of these vehicles have paddle shifters, but not to worry, Omoda's blessed these vehicles with drive modes. The E5's got Sport, Eco, and Normal, while the C5's got Eco and Sport. So if you put these cars side by side, the E5 and C5 are about 80% similar inside and out, and we'll boil down to the powertrain. So which are you gonna go for? Would it depend on the price perhaps? So let's talk about brass tacks and get down to business. How much is the C5 and E5 gonna cost you, and what's the warranty on these bad boys? Well, I'm happy to tell you that you might buy these cars as a young person, but this can definitely last you until you're older. With the Omoda C5, pricing hasn't been released just yet, but you can have this for below 1.5 million pesos. And the best part is it's got a 7-year, 200,000 kilometer bumper to bumper warranty, plus a 10-year, 1 million kilometer engine and drivetrain warranty, which means Omoda's definitely got your back if you want to get the Omoda C5. The Omoda E5 is definitely going to be below 1.9 million pesos, plus the battery has a warranty of 8 years, but not just the battery, that goes with the electric motor as well. So you can rest assured that many years down the line, you can still find the Omoda C5 and E5 right in your garages, ready for any adventure you would like to go into. So there you have it, guys. That's a quick walk around of the Omoda C5 and E5. Watch out for our full review very soon on our Zigwheels.Ph YouTube channel. So, drop me a comment in the comment section down below and tell me what you think of these cars. And while you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you wouldn't miss any of our videos. This has been Roy Roberts from Zigwheels.Ph, and I will see you guys next time.